Hey YouTube, Dan Otto here, coming at you with my last Great League team combo of Pokemon I'm thinking about using for the Toronto Regionals next month, and it is Trevenant, Shadow Drapion, and Diggersby. So Trevenant was on like 6 or 7 of the top 8 teams. It's beast in the league, right? Medichamps are on everyone's team, so it's great there. It's got the seed bombs for like it walls swampert, essentially. It doesn't wall swampert, but it pretty much walls swampert with the seed bombs, so it's great there. Even against like Sableye as a safe swap, you can still get off like multiple moves, so it's good there. You have to watch out for darks and sort of like normals, right? You've seen a rise in Noctowl, lickitung. Diggersby is another one we've seen a huge rise of. It's a normal, half ground, right? So your normal typing resists all the claws on like Trevenant, Sableye, stuff like that. That's why it's becoming everywhere. And it essentially walls Galarian Stunfisk, which was on a ton of teams too, right? So it's a great option. It actually gets destroyed by Flyer. So I don't recommend running this team because like something like an Altaria causes this team trouble. But I wanted to try those two out, and then I needed a safe swap because I've already used lickitung and I've already used Sableye. I'm like, what is one of the best safe swaps that are still here that can kind of just have wide coverage? And it's Shadow Drapion. A little glassy, but very, very, very spammy. So let's watch the battles. I didn't do amazing with this team, again, because the team has its kind of flaws, but I just wanted to like test out different Pokemon here. The thing with this mirror match is you can pretty much just go straight. I always go Seed Bomb because there's no real point of going Shadow Ball because this claws do so much. They come in here, end up catching the crunch on this. I know they have crunch in Aqua Tail because that's what I have, because that's what you run on a Shadow Drapion in the Great League. So I caught the crunch, which is good because that will get a lot of energy absorbed there. And I got the extra Poison Sting through on the switch over. So now I could probably get to the next Poison Sting and take them out, or they're going to maybe fight for switch. I'm fine either way, because if they do fight for switch here, and I'm pretty sure they do if I remember correctly. Yeah, really good timing right on CMP there. I think I just come in Diggersby, take one move, maybe have to shield one up, but then I'm going to be at like almost 2 fire punches, right? So if the Trevenant comes back in, I'll have a fire punch or 2 to deal with that. And if it doesn't come back in, we'll see what's in the back. So I could throw here, but I'm like, you know what? I'm fine. I will use a shield. We'll go even shields. I'll just take the super energy advantage here. I expect the Trevenant to come in just because I'm probably within a couple seed bombs now instead of being like 2 and a bit of seed bombs. So get Fire Punch off, and it's going to take. So it takes in the normal matchup, if you all have the same energy and same health, it takes 3 seed bombs and 3 fire punches to take each other out, right? So I had such an advantage. I got 2 up there, and then I tried to snipe. And then they come in Diggersby, Bastiodon, holy smokes. And at this point, having a little bit of energy advantage there means this is an easy matchup. They let the first 2 Shadow Balls go, which is perfect. They are now in Seed Bomb range. They have to shield, because if they don't shield, I can just like claw down their Trevenant. So what I think they're trying to do is just farm me down, but like damage is done. I can absorb every single move that this thing has here with ease. I do not need to shield up anything. So I just absorb it. They throw a resisted Stone Edge. Does absolutely nothing. That's a tickle. I'm going to have a Fire Punch coming out, so this game is over. Altaria lead, right? Here's like, this is, not that it's an instant loss, because you could get a Shadow Ball and like take it pretty low. But when they catch a Shadow Ball and lickitung, this game is over, because I don't have any good answers in the back to this. So I think I didn't want to try and build up because the licks would have done super effective, so I just kind of bailed right away. The licks are resisted here. That's good. Power Whip will still hit for super effective, and this is why Lickitung's like one of the best safe swaps, right? I got a normal type Pokemon that is, it's so tanky for starters. I got a normal type Pokemon that can resist all the licks. Power Whip still come through and do 50%, right? So even though these licks are resisted, I gotta throw a move because I don't want to take a Power Whip. But now the Altaria can come back in, and I really don't have an answer for Altaria. So, like, if I wanted to run this team, Trevenant and Galarian Stunfisk are a much better combo, right? Have something that you can throw at Altaria. It kind of neutralizes the having something for a normal type like the Lickitung. It makes it a little trickier there. So I just let it go, knowing that I have to like double shield. Maybe they have something in the back that's weak to this that I can win, but not looking good. So they have 2 shields. I'm spammy, but not, again, I mentioned before, it doesn't hit a ton super hard because it is spammy. So they let it go. Defense falls, I got a shield because it pretty much put me down to red, and then going down 2 shields. If I remember, they have a diggersby of their own in the back. Yep, so this game's over. Even Aquatails here, super effective, are not going to do anything to a diggersby, really. So that is tough. And that's kind of the flaws to this team. If you're ever going to run a diggersby with Mudshot, Fire Punch, and Earthquake, you need essentially 2 answers for Altaria, right? Or other flyers like Noctowl, stuff like that, because you're essentially dead. You have no shot there. So this team does not work, but if you want to run Diggersby, you have to build like that. Trevenant, if you want to run it, build for dark weaknesses, build for your normal type like Noctowl and lickitung weaknesses that are starting to pop up everywhere. So this is like a neutralist matchup. I know they have the Icy Wind, so I end up catching the Icy Wind, knowing that they're just trying to lower my attack and do super effective at the same time, so I catch it. So good catch. I have a Crunchwell to do super effective. I expected them to try and catch back, knowing that the crunch was coming. So I waited. My attack's already lowered, so even though I can get probably a couple off here, it's only going to take them to like the yellow, which is not bad because then it's probably within like maybe Seed Bomb. No, probably not Seed Bomb range. Probably still going to have to throw a Shadow Ball here to take it out, or farm down a ton, shield once. But if I remember, at the moment I did not want to go down shield advantage here. So I just take it out. We're both kind of neutral on energy here. So I expect it to come back in, and then we'll kind of deal with it as it comes here. So 1. Okay, so I guess they have an energy advantage. It's going to be an Icy Wind. So I think I end up... I shield 1 for sure. I go to the Shadow Ball. I'm counting. I know they're going to throw another one, so I just bait, assuming that they're going to want to shield because they're going to want to get off the Icy Wind because they know I'm going to have to shield back. So I do. And so I can farm down, but I think they make the swap here into azumarill. And I throw here like an idiot. I definitely should have banked that, being down 2 attacks here. I should have banked that and come in. And then I kind of realized that. I'm like, no, I needed to bank that move. So I build up to the Seed Bomb, and then I bank it. So I did some chip damage, right? Like, that's not an insignificant amount on the azumarill. And they hit me with the Hydro Pump, so this is not great. But this is where the tankiness of Diggersby comes in. So I'm going to get an Earthquake off here. And they're going to shield, which I think is the right play. Here's the wrong play. They try and farm me down the entire way. Diggersby's too thick for that. And now I got another Earthquake off. And what this does is it puts it in Seed Bomb range. So I banked a Seed Bomb. That puts it in the red. I can now win CMP over this. Throw the Seed Bomb. Take this out. And now it's a race between the Claws and the Hex. Or, yeah, I think it's Hex. And I end up winning that matchup there. And Trevenant into a wall rain. I'm double weak to ice. That's another thing with this team. You can't run this team because you're double weak to ice. I realized that in this matchup. So I'm like, oh no. So I'm like, okay, the good news is because it's now 5-5, I'm going to get 2 Seed Bombs off before they get 2 Icicle Spears off. Obviously these Weather Balls, or not Weather Balls, the fast move, Powder Snows. Powder Snows are doing much more than these Shadow Claws are. So I know they're probably just going to try and farm down at this point, and I don't know if they could or not, so I'm just going to bank it and come in here. Could be an Earthquake, so I got to shield up potentially here. It's just an Icicle Spear. I think I could take it out with a Crunch, and a Medicham comes in. And this is the problem when you're half Poison, half Dark. You still take neutral to these counter users. So even though I can get multiple off, Medicham's just too thick. I think they're going to ramp up here a bit. So it's a nice punch. So now they probably just counter me down and maybe be loaded with energy. We'll see. Defense fall. So that actually probably helps me. Yeah, as I was say, I needed that defense fall. That's huge. I only have this move, so I'm just going to throw it here. Problem is, I know that they're going to have a move coming out of this. So at this point, I just try and sacrifice my Trevenant. And I get it low. They blind throw an Earthquake. So they could have done it super effective with the Icicle Spears, but they blind throw an Earthquake, which still does a ton. And then Trevenant, I mentioned how this is a 3 versus 3 Fire Punch on a normal matchup versus Seed Bombs. So I'm going to just, when you're down 50%, you just get significantly outpaced and no shot here. So I will lose this matchup. So again, team, would I use this team? No. Thoughts on the Pokemon for regionals? Trevenant, I don't want to say Trevenant is a must, but it's kind of a must, right? It just does so well against swampert and so well against swampert and azumarill, which is everywhere. Very well against Galarian Stunfisk and Registeals, which are still everywhere, and super well against medicham, which was on all the top teams. So I think Trevenant's almost a must. Drapion is safe swap. Honestly, I prefer Sableye. I prefer Lickitung. I prefer, at this point, Noctowl. So I don't think I'll be bringing Drapion. Diggersby. Diggersby is a tough one. It's one of those Pokemon where it's like, it seems like you do well. Problem is you're going to do poorly against Swampert, which is everywhere. You're going to do okay against Trevenant, right? We know it's a 5v5 there. You're going to lose to Medicham. You're going to get destroyed by Altaria. So it just seems like, unless you try and trick them and go like tackle Hyper Beam, catch them off guard, catch Altaria off guard, maybe. But then that kind of loses your edge on Galarian Stunfisk. And so I don't know. Diggersby is a tough one. I've always, like, it's a tough one because it's super tanky. But just like the limitations of it really need you to team build well. And you can do that in open, but it's tougher to do when you have a pick 6. So those are my thoughts on the Pokemon. I think we are now into a new league tomorrow, so I will go over what the league is and potential teams for that, so check that out tomorrow. And yeah, I'll still be probably trying a bunch of teams out behind the scenes here, but again, there's no more Great League for the next 4 weeks, so I cannot even showcase any of them to you. And by that point, we are basically at regionals. It's like 1 or 2 weeks later, so we'll see what I come up with. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.